everyone, this is Lisa Haven, and tomorrow is the infamous day known as September 23rd that has been widely discussed by many people via the media, via reporting and journalist outlets. And while I do not believe an asteroid will be hitting America on that day, I do believe there are some critical events that are about to transpire, specifically in regards to Pope Francis meeting with President Obama on September 23rd. Now, what makes this interesting is that these leaders are meeting on the 266th day of the year. In addition, not only are they meeting on the 266th day of the year, but Pope Francis is the 266th president. Some have even suggested that 266 days is the average life of the human gestational period, considering there could be some kind of birth out of this event. Now, while I do find it fascinating that the two are converging, what I find even more fascinating is some of the topics that they are going to be discussing. According to the Washington Post, during the visit, both the president and the Pope will continue dialogues that they began during the presidential visit to the Vatican back in March 2014 on their shared values and commitments and on a wide range of issues. And that was according to Josh Earnest. Those issues include caring for the marginalized and the poor, advancing economic opportunity for all, serving as good stewards of the environment, protecting religious minorities, and promoting religious freedom around the world, and welcoming and integrating immigrants and refugees into our communities. Well, these topics sound like sunshine and lollipops. You must remember Pope Francis's announcement just a few months ago that he wants to create a new world order and a global governance. Not only that, but John Kerry has stated that he too wants a new world order. So we must delve into the deeper meaning behind these things that are going to be discussed. For example, one of the topics that they're going to be addressing is the advancing economic opportunity for everyone. Well, if you have read the Agenda 21 document, which I have, and also take into consideration that Pope Francis is going to be speaking at the UN Sustainable Development Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030 meeting coming up in just a few days, then we can assume that that would include decreasing countries such as America, financially decreasing and financially taking down countries such as America and transporting that wealth to other countries such as Africa and other countries abroad, basically socializing the entire world, which I don't believe Pope Francis is against. I think he's all for socialization, in my opinion. But that's a big issue for me because they're basically stealing from the rich countries. And how are they doing that? Well, they're going to do that with our economy. That is their idea of an economic equal among all. And what is the ultimate goal? Well, to have a poor mass below and a rich ruling class. That's the ultimate agenda for the elitists, as well as depopulation, which is another agenda of Agenda 21 coming up at the UN meeting. And the UN meeting that the Pope is going to be speaking at is September 25th through the 27th. He will actually be addressing the UN on the 25th. But wait, there's more. Not only are they going to be talking about the economy, but they are also going to be addressing protecting and being good stewards of the environment. Why are they talking about that? Well, because that plays right into their agenda once again. They can do things like carbon taxes to you and I. Oh, also, that is included on the document Agenda 21, where they talk about taxing people in order to accomplish an agenda, in order to accomplish the green agenda. This is another thing that the Pope and Obama are going to be discussing, how they can get money from you and I and into their pockets under the false lie of global warming. Yes, that is the ultimate agenda there. More money in their pockets, less money for you and I, all in the name of fraud. Let's tax them to death. Obviously, an agenda of both the Pope and Obama. But let's not forget the third agenda that Obama and the Pope are going to be discussing tomorrow, the 23rd, and that is protecting religious minorities and protecting religious freedoms around the globe, around the world. If only that were true, especially considering what just happened with Saudi Arabia. According to multiple news sources, and this one that I found on independent.co.uk, Saudi Arabia has been chosen to head the key United Nations Human Rights Panel. This is the moment I want to say, what is going on? Especially considering Saudi Arabia has ranked 12th on the World Watch list according to opendoors.uk.org, a country that is widely known for Islamic extremism. Why would the UN appoint such a country that promotes Christians, that are the imprisonment of Christians, the arrest of Christians, and sometimes torture or deportation of Christians in particular? This is a huge problem for me. Any country that backs Sharia law in a way is unheard of to be our human rights panel, or on the human rights panel for that matter, but there is definitely an agenda in play. So, do they really care about religious freedom? Wait, there is yet still one more topic to be discussed, and that is immigration. We know both President Obama and Pope Francis have been pushing hardcore for immigration in European countries. Let me state just a little bit earlier what the Pope said. The Pope has just asked every Catholic parish in Europe to take in refugees' families. Not only that, but President Obama and John Kerry have been pushing. First, they said 10,000 refugees in America. Then that number went up to 20,000. Then it went up to 25,000. Now we are at, guess what, 85,000 that they plan on letting in before 2017. And they are expecting that number to increase to 100,000-ish people. What will that do to our economy? Well, I've said it 100 times, implosion. There is a double agenda. So there you have it. That's the rundown of President Obama and Pope Francis on the 23rd of September, covering everything from depopulation to increased religious persecution across the globe, to implosion of our economy, to a breakdown economically speaking. Lots of things to discuss on the topic. Now, one other thing that I didn't mention in the beginning of the video that I want to bring up is that September 23rd is also the Jewish holiday known as Yom Kippur. Now, Yom Kippur is a day of atonement for sins. It's a day of repentance for those in the Jewish culture who celebrate that. Now, with this in mind, why would Obama and Pope Francis choose to meet on such a day? Especially considering, and I've said this hundreds of times before, that France is going to be introducing a proposal that will officially back Palestine as a state in the UN, and if Obama backs this bad boy, then we could be in for some serious stuff. Now, I said in the beginning of this video that September 23rd, while I don't believe a comet will hit, I do believe holds some imperative information that we all need to be aware of, and that is that this is that meeting that they're going to be talking about when two Antichrist types, not naming them the Antichrist themselves, but two Antichrist types. God says in the Bible that there are many Antichrist types. This is one of those, both of those. And anytime that two heads like that meet discussing things on an imperative holiday, then my ears are going to go up in alarm and say, check this out. Here's what they're discussing, and be on the watch, be on the lookout. Now, not only that, but Pope Francis is also going to be addressing Congress, I believe, on the, let me check my notes, the 24th, a joint session. And this is the first time a pope has addressed both the House and the Senate. And Pope Francis, a Jesuit pope, might I add, and one who is promoting world religion and world governments, is going to be addressing Congress. And then obviously at the UN 2030 Agenda 21 meeting, he'll be stepping in on the 25th. So lots under play, and I'm going to keep you up to date as events transpire. Wanted to bring you the latest. This is Lisa Haven signing off.